before starting, I want to say I'm also very happy to meet you, and it's very exciting for me to be here today because there are lots of great speakers, and I'm a little like shy. So this is me, the bottom one, and my name is Burak. I'm working as a software developer at Hyperscience. So you can follow me on Twitter and follow me on GitHub by using these names. My surname is, my last name is Can, and I know that there is no J letter in Bulgarian. So if you want to write in Bulgarian, it's like this. It becomes 4 letters. And the best part of this, if we convert back to the Latin alphabet from this alphabet, it becomes 5 letters. So this is the exact opposite of lost in translation. I'm doing Sofia, and I'm from a beautiful country. Yeah, I think this is from Galata Tower, Istanbul. This is Golden One, and it's a great city. But today I'm going to talk about monoliths. So, who knows what monoliths? Okay, yeah, you know, great. So, monoliths are these big, extremely solid meshes actually, and they first discovered by hominids. So, this discovery triggered a massive shift in their evolution. And as a result of this evolution, they start to build and use tools like Babel. So, who don't know what Babel is? Great, happy for you. Yeah. So for those who don't know what Babel, it takes your shiny new JavaScript code and transpiles it to an old shitty JavaScript code. This is what it does. So before version 6 of Babel, there was only a single tool, single library that you can install and use right away. But after version 6, it started to look like this. So you have to install Babel core, and on top of it, Babel core does nothing basically. And on top of it, you have to install transforms, plugins, etc. for as units. Why is this? Why? So this goes from their version 6 announcement, and they said that we want it to be as modular as possible. So I highlighted it modular because it's important. So what is modularity? I won't deep to what modularity is because it's out of this talk's context, but it's important. So, and this is from Unix philosophy. It basically says you should be building applications or programs by composing other smaller programs. So your problem spaces are smaller. As I said, I won't go deep, very deep on modularity because it's also part of this context, but it's important. So let's say we decide we will build an application and we want it to be as modular as possible. So the obvious choice for version controlling is to go with multiple repositories, right? What does it mean? So, for example, we are building an application and it's a Git repository, and we have a UI library, for example, which we are building for our application, and it's another Git repository. We maintain them separately, and we will conserve separate copies. So this approach has very good advantage, very important advantage. For example, each team on your team, depending on your team size and project size, actually a team of persons, can own a part of your application or part of your libraries and do whatever they want without distracting others or without being distracted by other things. So, for example, if a team can decide on using monkey emojis instead of commas, for example, or they can go in brain fuck and you don't mind because as long as it works, it's okay for you, and each team can work on that as they want. And it's also easier to reuse codes in different contexts. So let's turn back to our application. We are developing a super serious CRM application, for example, an enterprise application, and we built a component library for that. We can easily reuse that library in our Tinder for Cats clone, for example. So it's easy to use code in other contexts. And it's also easier to do access control. For example, if you are outsourcing parts of your application, and if you have some confidential parts of your application, so you can easily manage who can access what, who can not access what, and stuff. So it's easier to do. But this is how it looks like, how Babel looks like on GitHub when GitHub is banned. It happened twice last year in Turkey. And this is how it looks like for the rest of the world. So, as you can see, you saw that package JSON file. There were too many modules, but these are all in a single folder, in a single repository. So what is it? This is a Monorepo example. Because after filling with multiple repositories for years, people decided that, yeah, we were trying to do this easier, but actually it's a bit complicated because you have to manage versions across your repositories, you have to somehow sync them, etc. So, sorry, and it's a bit harder. So, people came up with an idea. What if we put everything in a single repo? So, Monorepo is an ask you to do. It's easier to set up your development environment. If you are using multiple repositories, you have to install your multiple dependencies, development environment, etc., for everyone, right? For every repository. If you have just one single repository, you can install your clone ones and use them from there. It's easier to make big changes in Monorepo because, for example, again, that's UI library, for example. If you are developing a form module and an input module, and if they are depending each other, and you want to refactor them, it's easier to do this in Monorepos because you only have one repo to manage. You only do changes in your one repo, and you can, if you are using multiple repositories, you have to push twice, and it's that. And it's also easier to review your changes because, again, the same example. Sorry. Let's say you decide to make a big change. So let's say you decide to do a big change, and this touches a lot of parts of your application, and you make changes in 5 repositories, right? And you push all of them, and you want some. By the way, who are doing code reviews? Who do that? Oh, great, great. Because in talks or stuff, everyone is saying that code reviews are good, you must do that, but from what I see, there are not too many people doing that. So, and someone should review that. But while reviewing that, that person must go check the repository and then switch to another repository and try to see if they are breaking each other, etc., etc. So it's very, very hard to do. Also, dependency management is very easy if you are using Monorepos because you just depend on another file in your file system or in your repo. So you are not fiddling around with versions. If this module change its version, and if it's not compatible with my current application, it will be etc. So it's very hard to do version dependency management, especially between your components. So with Monorepos, you can easily manage that because, as I said, you just depend on another file on your page. So. And it's easier to locate because if you're developing a feature and if it's attached to different parts of your repositories and repos, you have to switch between them and make changes and switch again and make changes and switch again and make changes. If you are just, using just a single repository, then you just go to a file, open and edit it, and another file and open it. So it's very easy. You can collaborate with other teams. For example, if you are like owning a part of your application, you can easily collaborate with other teams to work together. So this is also very nice. And no ownership. If you remember, we said ownership is good thing in multiple repositories approach, but sometimes it's also good to have no ownership, because if your teams are very small and if one person is owning part of your application, what happens if he or she leaves? So sometimes it's better to it's better to have no ownership. It's just okay. So these companies, these libraries and persons are using Monorepos. You can search on YouTube for talks from Google and Facebook, which they talk about why they choose to go with Monorepos. Of course, they have different problems than most of our problems, but still they are using Monorepos. So, at this point, maybe you are thinking, okay, I'm sold. Who is thinking like that? No. Okay. But how we do it? Like, just so the first thing you need to do is you have to throw all your packets, all your modules into a single folder. So this is the beginning. And after that, each of your modules can have a structure like this. This is just a standard JavaScript library structure. So in each module you have some package.json as before. And you need to install dependencies for your module. You need to link your packages all together so you can depend on them while you're working, especially. And you need to run your development environment. And after that, you have to start developing something. And you make changes. And after that, to be sure that you are not breaking something, you have to run your tests. And you have to build. And then publish a new version and get your package. But this is for each module. For each module, you have to do all of this in a single module. So if you have 100 application or library, you have to do this 100 times. So like there is a tool or library in JavaScript community for everything. So you know that there is a tool for automating this stuff. So it's Lerna. Lerna, I think it's from Greek mythology, origin. But Lerna is actually a tool which helps you to manage all of this hard stuff when you go with Monorepos. So how do you use that? First, you need to install it. So you can just install it from npm if you are using Java. You can install it from npm globally. It don't have to be globally, but and then in your project folder, you need to init a new learner project. So, and after initting them, it creates a folder structure like this for you. There is your package.json standard, and there is the learner.json file which keeps track of all your modules, and then it creates a package folder, and you throw your modules into that hole. And there's an independent mode of this. What does it mean? If you want your libraries to have all have the same version every time, you can go without independent mode. But if you want to version all of them separately, then the learner provides that by independent level. So there are actually lots of flags that needs text, but I won't go in because they are too much. And okay, so you created your learner repository and did some development and pushed Git or whatever. And then someone will need to download this and work with it. So you are the second developer in your project, and your colleague created a learner repository, so and you download it, clone it. You have to you need to do learner repository, which will install dependencies for all your modules. That's just one single element. And link your all packages together so you can depend on them working. You can use your worker copy while developing. And it will run npm run pre-publish script so they can init the modules can init themselves. Okay, so you did change and you want to run your linter, you want to run your tests, etc., etc. And you want to run some sort of script in your modules. Learner provides this by using a run command. And if you, for example, say learner run tests, it will run test command in each module. So if you have 100 modules, it will run it for all of them. And yeah, you made changes and you decided that, okay, my change is working and it's not breaking another module. So you decide to publish and publish all your modules. And what will you do? Will you go in every module and publish? No. Learner does it by providing a publish command, which basically does goes into each module, creates a new release, and prompts for a new version for every module if you are using independent mode or a single. If you are not using single independent mode, it prompts for a single version, and then creates a Git tag for your version, and then commits and pushes that to Git, and then publish them again. So it's very convenient. You can find more info on learner.js.io, this official website of it. There are many other tools you can use, scripts, for example, to automate these stuff, but Learner is pretty convenient to use. Actually, I tried to be a bit fast because we started late, but I think I went very fast. So, if you have questions, I can answer, but if you have don't.
Okay, so thank you very much. We are ready to ask Burak some questions. Okay.
Can you tell me please how upgrade safe is to use a monorepo?
I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Can you tell me how upgrade safe is to use a monorepo? Because maybe you have many other modules which need some upgrades, some updates.
So upgrades to modules for each module. Okay, so the question is, how do you update your NPM dependencies? Yeah, using your module. So it's the same actually with the multiple repositories. You just because you depend on them in your modules JSON file. But if you want, you can declare your dependencies in your main JSON file and update once from there, and each module uses them.
Okay, well, are you looking about questions? Yeah.
Hi. First of all, thank you for the great speech. I want to ask you a question. When you have a monorepo, isn't the possibility of having conflicts a lot bigger because you have a bigger code base?
Yeah, the possibility is higher if you are using when the monorepos are compared to multiple repositories. The chances are higher, but it's a trade-off actually. And when you are making a change, you should keep your change in a small area. So, yeah, but that's it.
Okay, I also have one question. So, if you can go back to the publish example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you work in independent mode, how does this work? Is my first question. And then my second question is, does this create a new version for all the submodules, even if you didn't change them?
No, if it checks if you make changes to them, and then if it's changed, it comes a new version for the model.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hey, again for this slide.
Yeah.
Why we're making the git tag? I mean, if we're developing like a node module,
Sorry.
if we're developing a node module, I guess that just updating the version of back npm publish will create a new version for the module. But why is tagging
This
this?
is what it's.
Just to track something?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. First of all, if we have at the beginning 5 repos, for example, and we put all of them in one folder, to avoid conflicts, I expect in the production environment for the various teams to create like their own branches. Wouldn't these like create 20 branches instead of having like 2 branches on 5 repos? Like, the situation is almost the same at the end because when we merge the things, we still have to solve the conflicts and whatnot that we receive,
Yes.
like we have in 5 repos.
Yes, as I said, it's a trade-off. Usually, you only have one master branch. So, if you keep that master branch working, then everything will be okay for you. So, if I am.
Okay. Everybody's asleep. Okay, good. One guy that's not asleep.
Thank you for the talk. Missed a little bit at the beginning, but so are you proposing monorepos for one project and multiple modules, or monorepos for multiple projects and multiple modules within the same monorepo? Because it's the second case. Exactly how do you deal with different requirements for the modules for different projects? And we are talking about just plain Git, no Git plus submodules, right?
Well, actually, it depends on your use case. You can use submodules. But here, I said that you don't need to use them. So, for the other question, it depends on use case. Actually, if you are, for example, a software agency which works for different companies, then it's not logical to put everything in one repository. But if you are a product company and you have different products, it's logical to put everything in one single repository, and you can still manage or track your dependencies in their own JSON files. So it's possible.
I agree, it depends on whether it's a product company or a consultancy software. But if you are that kind of a company that does many projects for many customers, okay, the projects themselves, they don't have to be in the Monorepo, but the libraries that you develop for your own use, they do have to be in the Monorepo for each of those projects. So
I'm proposing that you should putting all your projects in one single.
Even if you're having many customers and many projects for them.
No, if you are doing for them, then you will probably need access control.
Okay.
if you are developing only for your company, then I'm proposing that.
Okay, if you're developing for other companies,
I don't
your own
know.
software, as your own modules.
Yeah, you can keep all your modules to your own use in your single module.
Okay, so you end up with two more, right?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay.
Okay, can you give us some quick advice and tips, maybe how to not do the most obvious mistakes when we work with Monorepos?
Are there problems? Because I can't really hear.
Oh, sorry, I don't think there's a problem with that. I want for you to give us some advice and quick tips how to not go crazy and how to not make the most obvious mistakes when we work with Monorepos. And this applies not only to JavaScript, but more in general.
The first advice that I want to use is automatize everything. Because we tried that in a company before, I don't want to make it. And it was terrible, plain terrible. Because we were using a Monorepo, but we were managing everything separately, so it was terrible. So that's the advice.
Okay, so automate everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.